like what you're seeing here, subscribe to this channel for more. What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today I will be reviewing a figure by MEGAHOUSE. It is the P.O.P DX Akagami no Shanks. So this figure was released back in 2013, and I think they did a limited re-release in 2017 too, 4 years later. So for me, for a figure that came out about 7 years ago, this is still pretty darn good. And of course, this is Shanks, one of the more popular characters in One Piece. Also, he is still quite enigmatic, and he is also a Yonko, which gives a lot more value to the character and to the figure, because if you ordered P.O.P Kaido Maximum and you have the white beard, either the O1 or the Maximum 2, you can put the three of them together as your Yonko display and have an amazing collection. Now, if you guys followed me on my Instagram, you will have known that I actually got this at the start of this year. It is second hand, it doesn't come with any box, but the condition itself is still very good. And this is how I display Shanks, which is, I think this is how he arrived in Marineford and speaking to the whole plaza, whatever that is. And I thought this is really cool, especially him speaking with that sort of like a conqueror Haki's eyes. That's great. But other than that, other than what you see in front of you, there are still some additional pieces. We have a base for the figure, but as you can see, it is not necessary. We have two additional heads over here, and a straw hat, as well as an additional interchangeable right arm. The base itself says Red Hat Pirates, and you have the Jolly Roger of the pirate crew, and it says Shanks over here. Itself, it's kind of like a consistent maroon color, so pretty much that, not much color variation. Let us take a closer look at the figure, starting from the head sculpt. First of all, the head itself is situated on a ball joint, so you have quite a bit of freedom if you want to rotate it around. It goes 360. Up and down, this is the maximum for up, and for down, this is the maximum. So you have a little bit of freedom to where you want him to face, to the left, to the right, downwards, upwards. So that's actually really neat. You don't really get this a lot nowadays anymore because it's more of fixed poses. So this is really well appreciated. And for the face itself, I really like this head out of the three because he looks really, you know, like badass and angry with his eyes. His eyes to me just looks like he's using the Conqueror's Haki. And I know a lot of people said that the figure, the face itself, doesn't really look like Shanks, but once again, to me, I think a lot of MEGAHOUSE figures for One Piece characters don't really look like their actual manga or their source material. So this is honestly already pretty well done to me, and I'll just bring in the two other heads so you guys can do some side-by-side comparison. And out of the three, I really think that the one that I have on the figure is the best. This one on the right is more like he's like speaking a little bit pissed off. The one on the left looks like he's getting scolded and he's feeling really sad. So the one in the middle is still like angry and pissed off Shanks with those Conqueror Haki's eyes. Is, to me, it's still the best. But at the end of the day, of course, it's up to you which one you prefer. But likeness wise, to me, this is the one. And of course, for the hair itself, they're all pretty similar. It's just, I don't see a lot of shading, but it's just a really dark red or a maroon kind of color. A little bit of shading, but the strands are actually all pretty well done, as expected for a MEGAHOUSE figure. Alright, and the scars themselves is actually carved into the face, so it's not painted. The beard is painted, and I think for the ears, those details, if you really want to see, there they are. I had removed the coat or the cape of Shanks, whatever you call it, so we can have a better view of the shirts and the upper body sculpt. So his body wise, it is really well sculpted. He is very muscular, as you can see. A little bit of shading also. And for his shirts, the details are really well done. The buttons are done painted with a reflective paint. I think this is like a little bit like a copperish kind of color. And of course the creases itself, you can see the shading also to emphasize the folds. This is of course where this is tied up, where his arm is gone, and towards the back it is all really well done. So if you put a cape on, obviously it's kind of hidden, you can't really see them, but when you take it out, the details, it's top notch. It is top notch. Another thing I want to mention is that the coat actually leaves some kind of like a black paint on it, paint bleeding on both sides, so you really have to be very careful. I'm pretty sure maybe if you use some sort of like a special eraser, it will come off, but still just had to be very careful for this figure. The pants itself, it's also really good. You can see the painting of the designs, the patterns are really well done. Nothing weird going on there with the shading. The creases are also pretty decent as well. So right at the bottom you have his feet, and of course the leg hair. Sorry, I missed out on that. Those are painted on. A little bit of darker shading towards the top. His feet are actually pretty huge, wearing those sandals, and also kind of like a darker shading towards the bottom, but details wise I think you can see for yourself. And this is the bottom. This is how it looks like, the holes where you put the packs on. And let me just turn to the back in case you guys are interested in his butt. Not much of an ass for Shanks. And lastly, the other interesting thing is his sword. And of course this is actually removable. I took off the arm to show you guys because it's easier that way. So as you can see, this part, this is actually where it connects, and another connection point is around here. So you really want to be gentle and sort of just lightly pull it apart. Really have to be careful because these things are really fragile. Really, it breaks so easy. It's really scary. And what happens is you're just left with this and you take it out. So if you want it to be in the sheath by his waist, just push it back. You can't really push this in all the way, I'm not sure why, but I rather not push it in too hard, because if not, when you take it out, it's gonna be a dangerous event. And you slide the sheath in. That is how it looks like. Since we are here, I had changed the right arm option to the one with him holding his right arm up. So you want to put him like this if you want him to hold the straw hat over here. The straw hat itself is really nicely detailed, as you can see, with the damage done by Buggy. Overall, with some shading across as well. Really nice. And what you want to do is that you just put this hat onto his right palm like this. I think it's supposed to be, you know, angled this way because you can't really rotate his hand in any way. So this is just kind of the general direction. You can move it around a little bit, but if you try to put it like straight up like this, it's just gonna fall over. So it's better to angle it this way. And for those of you who are wondering whether or not he can actually wear the straw hat, it's not really going to work, or you know, unless you're okay with this, because it doesn't really fit well at all. So it looks really off. So best way is still this way, in my opinion. This is just the other way you can display him other than him holding the sword. Last but not least, let's not forget about the cape. It is generally black in color with shading, lighter in some of the curves around his body, even towards the bottom over here, but the creases are also really well done. And on the inside is actually kind of a little bit like a purplish, light purplish violet color in certain areas. I guess they just don't want it to look very dull, but usually that's what MEGAHOUSE does for the inside of the capes. It's usually kind of like a purplish color, and this is how it looks like. So even though I really like the details on his inner shirts, I think without the cape, Shanks will look naked. It is more complete for him to wear it. He just looks much more badass, much more like a Yonko, and really amazing. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of his head, it's around 24.5 cm, so almost hitting 9 3/4 inches. If you want to include the base, just add 0.5 cm. Over here, I have brought out some of my Luffy figures so you guys can do a little bit of height comparison. And to the right, we have the Sailing Again version 2 Luffy. And as you can see, he is actually really short. Even though it is propped up by the base, it is still shorter than Shanks because Luffy is a much shorter character. And to the left, we have the Ichiban Kuji Best Edition Masterlized Luffy, which is the same scale as your, come on guys, say it with me, King of Artists, Master Stars Piece, Flag Diamond Ship, Glitter, and Glamours. Did I miss out on any? I hope not. So obviously he's taller than the P.O.Ps, and I'm not gonna bring the Grantistas because the Grantistar will be just really tall, and it's not gonna be a good fit to Shanks or even to the P.O.P series. This is the P.O.P Maximum Whitebeard, and I gotta say, with these two Yonkos like this side by side with each other, really makes them look amazing. And I would imagine it would be even more insane if you have Kaido to the right, just the three of them. Wow, they will be truly breathtaking. But unfortunately for me, looks like this is just how it will be for me for the near future as far as I can see. I'm not going to be able to afford Kaido. But yeah, there's these two guys looking together. Obviously they are not to the character scale because Whitebeard will be about probably 2.5 times taller than Shanks. But this is the P.O.P scale, and this is the best as we can get. Alright guys, that's all I have to say for this figure. And to me, for something that came out around 7 years ago, this is really amazing. Not the best, but probably in my mind, one of the better Shanks figures you can try to get. Now let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I actually do want to get Ben Beckman, so I can sort of display both of them together, him and his right hand man, but we will see. I have a few more figures to review actually, but if you guys want to specifically see any review of any figures that I own, do let me know too. And I have a little bit more time now, so I'll try to fit them into my schedule. Alright, I'll see you guys very soon and hope you guys enjoy the video. Goodbye.